Welcome back, everybody. My name is Sean. This is United vs. Everybody, and this is episode 3, season 4 of What If? Because, there are times during live streams where a question or a concept pops up that makes you kind of stop and go, huh, right? I think about these things all the time. They keep me up at night. I wake up early for this shit. You guys know what I'm talking about. The moments that make you wonder what might have been, right? Had something gone differently. The what if moments. That's what this series is here to explore. That's what we're here today to explore, to look at some unique points in Manchester United history and imagine what might have been. Imagine an alternate timeline where things would have gone differently. Now, this isn't just me making stuff up. This is a lot to do with realistically what was going on at the time, whether that's transfer rumors or ownership stuff, whatever. If you guys have been following along the series by now, you know what to expect, right? There's a lot going on. But today, though, we take a look at one of the most iconic moments in Manchester United history and imagine what might have been had it never occurred. What if one of the greatest strikers in United's history hadn't gotten himself banned from football for 9 months? What if a rival fan never spat volatile insults at a certain French striker? What if Eric Cantona never kung fu kicked that Crystal Palace fan? So that's what we're here to today, you guys. I'm excited to share my thoughts with you. Like the video, please subscribe if you are new. Check the membership if you want to learn how you can get involved in ideas for future episodes of What If. And let's go ahead and kick this off, you guys. So let's rewind the clock back. January 1995. Manchester United are away to Crystal Palace, and Eric Cantona is sent off for kicking Crystal Palace defender Richard Shaw. Shaw had been sticking to Cantona like glue that night. He frustrated the Frenchman, who kind of let that frustration get the better of him, which led to him getting sent off, right? As Cantona is heading down the tunnel, a Crystal Palace fan runs down like 11, 12 flights of stairs to shout abuse at the guy. I don't want to repeat, what the fan is reported to have said. Reports kind of clash. It is what it is. Y'all can go look that up. But whatever it was, let's just say it was enough for Cantona to kick and then punch him before being escorted to the dressing room. Following the match, Cantona delivered his famous seagulls following the trawler interview. He was banned for 9 months. He was fined. He was hit with an assault charge and potential jail time, which ended up turning into 120 hours of community service, but he never played for France again. Loads of people were not happy with Cantona. The FA's chief executive at the time labeled his actions as a stain on the game, and United eventually went on to lose the league to Blackburn Rovers that season. But what if that never happened? What if Cantona never got sent off? What if Palace fan had just stayed in his seat? Or what if Cantona had just kept his cool in that moment? So many what ifs, right? The ban meant that he missed the second half of the 94-95 season, as well as the start of the 95-96 season, if you guys remember. It was dark times. And remember, United lost the title to Blackburn Rovers by just 1 point in the 94-95 season, that second half when Cantona was banned. Cantona scored 12 league goals before his suspension. Had he played the final months of the rest of that season, he almost certainly would have added more goals, and his presence could have carried United over the line. Maybe he would have added another 7, 8, 9, 10 goals, provided the spark United needed in key games, meaning United win the league that year instead of Blackburn, securing 3 titles in a row, the 93, 94, and 95 seasons. United lost the FA Cup final as well, 1-0 to Everton. I think that with Cantona available in that match, it likely swings differently. Maybe it swings in our favor. I think his ability to unlock defenses maybe have actually seen us get over the line and also give us the domestic double that season, if you guys remember. Add to that the fact that winning 3 leagues in a row would have cemented Sir Alex's dominance in English football like that much earlier. But there's also a real chance, had Cantona stuck around, that we would have missed out on a few more legends of the club, namely the class of 92. Cantona's suspension and United missing out on trophies in 1995 created space for the rise of Ryan Giggs, David Beckham, Paul Scholes, Nicky Butt, Gary, and Phil Neville. Ferguson doubled down on youth for the 95-96 season, if you guys remember, famously selling senior players like Ince, Kanchelskis, and Hughes. And I think that we have to remember that pressure can be a big catalyst for big decisions in football. Without Cantona's ban, and without, had United not missed out on the league and gotten that domestic double as well, Sir Alex might have felt less pressure to clear out the older players right away and trust the academy so aggressively. Um, there might not have been a Keegan meltdown on the air as well, if you guys remember that nonsense. I think United in the class of '92 specifically, I think they probably do still join the first team, right, and become part, but I think just not as immediate, not as high profile. There's not all this kind of mythos around it and everything. I think they gradually get bedded in like a normal academy player, right? Who knows what this also would have maybe eventually had on the 99 treble winning side without those young players kind of already having the experience. Maybe the veteran players would have lingered a little longer. Maybe they would have prevented these class of 92 from breaking into the first team. I think that maybe the leadership role taken up by Roy Keane may have been delayed had Cantona still stayed, because Cantona would have remained a very strong presence in that dressing room. And despite the fact that at the time, Cantona would have been 30, he would have been starting to slow down. But I think that just because of who he is, I think that he still would have just demanded that kind of stature and role and leadership status, right? So there's always maybe a potential negative to the positives. Again, that's not what happened, so it's fine. Needless to say, though, Eric Cantona will always be a United legend, like just will. But maybe instead of being remembered partly for that controversy, he might have been more remembered as just being purely a leader at United, a creative genius, I mean, hands down, like up there for one of the greatest strikers in the Premier League history. I think Cantona's mystique was almost enhanced by that ban, and his famous seagull speech. I think that kind of adds to the aura of Cantona as it is. But I do think a scandal-free career could have seen him regarded as an even more serious Ballon d'Or candidate, maybe in the mid-90s as well. We'll never know. He would have remained a talisman at United, and I think veteran players likely would have stuck out a little longer, but maybe the class of 92 is phased in a little bit more organically as well. So you have trophies, you have domestic dominance, you don't have maybe Fergie's fledglings. There's no mythical youth-powered resurgence in the mid to late 90s at United that made those seasons so special and so legendary. But Cantona would have also made them special and legendary as well. So you never know. And potentially no treble without those youngsters, without David Beckham maybe having the experience to put in those balls. Maybe with no Ollie Gunnar brought in as well. Who knows, had he not been able to break in. But you never know. So potentially no treble, potentially no class of 92's immediate rise, but maybe a domestic double that season. Maybe Cantona, it becomes just an absolute legend in the league itself, not just at United too. So the question remains, what if, right? What would you have preferred, though? You guys let me know. Pretty short one today, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts because it is something that comes up now and then. But again, like the video, please. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Please, Starting 11 and Legends members, also, you get a say in the ideas for What If episodes. So leave a note in that community post that only Starting 11 and Legends members can see. And maybe if we use your idea, if it's a good idea, we'll give you a shout out when we do it for sure. I love to have you guys get involved. But I want to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.